Hello everyone. As most are probably aware by now, I am disabled and have a lot of medical issues. I do not like the idea of making this kind of request, but I do understand that this request could potentially help other people as well as me. So in that regard, I am appealing to anybody listening to help me with creating a brand new Bionic. The issue with Bionics right now is that the reflexes of it are less than a healthy human. This means that a disabled person that wears Bionics could not game or work certain jobs as well as a healthy human. I have a few ideas of how to solve this problem, though. To solve this issue, it will require two phases. First phase is the software side. I don't want to get into too many details because I would hate for somebody to steal my idea and then do this the way that I don't want it to be done. Most I'm willing to say is that people who are familiar with coding in a Linux environment will be required. My reason for choosing Linux is for two reasons. First being it's free software, which means anybody can access it. Second being a recent version of Ubuntu. Ubuntu recently got GS Connect as part of 1810. What GS Connect is it's a extension, I think is what it's called, that allows an Android phone to control it. I have tested GS Connect with OBS and many other things, and it has worked without a fail. Knowing that there are disabilities that affect limbs, I think it would be best if this was based on an operating system that could be controlled by a phone. It should make things a little easier. So yes, those are the two reasons. GS Connect and because it's more accessible. That's phase 1. Let's talk about phase 2. Phase 2 will involve implementing the software and actually building the Bionics. That part is where it's going to get harder. I've done research into materials in the past for a chair project I was working on. I believe the same materials that I was looking at back then can be used for the Bionics. However, I'm not an engineer, so I would not know that for sure. An engineer would be required to look over the notes that I have made from that prior project to see if this is even feasible. Then, after that, it will require someone familiar with power, electricity, whatever you want to call it. This can be done by batteries, I think. However, it might be good to start looking into one of the fuel cell projects. I know there's hydrogen fuel cells out there. There's going to be one based on alcohol and a few others. If these were explored, it could result in an efficient power supply that would not require constant reuse of batteries. When both phases are done, or one at a time, it could be done either way, I would like for the software to be licensed under GNU, just like Linux is. This would make it so that the software could be maintained or edited later on by people other than the ones that created it. In addition, it would make the costs a lot lower. As for the actual Bionics itself, that would require a lawyer to look over things. From what I understand, a Creative Commons license could protect a blueprint. If this is correct, then the Bionics itself should be under a Creative Commons license. Combined with the GNU license, this would make it less expensive and accessible to all. That is the goal of anything that I have in mind regarding this entire thing. Medical care in countries like the United States are already high enough as is. I find it impossible to get even the basic medical care here in the United States. The out-of-pocket cost for even antibiotics can be as much as $150. The last thing I would want for anyone is for the Bionics to cost more than they can afford. So, to sum it up, I am looking for someone who can code in a Linux environment. I'm looking for an engineer to review my notes. I'm looking for somebody to review or discover a power source for this. And lastly, a lawyer to see if the Creative Commons license will work. That is all I have. Thank you if you listen to this and spread the word.